Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Michael Anand.
And I'm student meteorologist Rebecca Beal, and good evening.
It was another warm day out there, and we actually hit a milestone today. Jake is going to talk about that in a little bit. But we are expecting some changes as we go into the weekend, right, Rebecca?
Right, it's just going to get, we have had really high temperatures right now, really oppressive, uncomfortable dew points. And then this weekend we finally get to see some stuff that'll cool off maybe.
Yeah, we finally will get some rain chances late Sunday into Monday. We're going to give you more details about that. And we have a first severe weather outbreak of the season in the Mid-South. Not here, in the Mid-South. But it's finally warm enough for that type of weather to make its arrival in the U.S.
Exactly. Now we get down to the interesting part.
Yeah, and those changes are going to come eventually. So we're expected to be a little bit cooler as we go into next week. But we're not going to get to those records, as we were saying. Jake is going to talk about these records in a little bit. But, yeah, we are expecting some changes as we go into next week.
I'll be honest, I could use some change. It's been really hot this week. I would appreciate a little bit of rain, a little coolness.
I know. I was out there earlier, and it was really warm out there. I was actually sweating for the first time this year, so it tells you how warm it was. But we're actually going to send it out to Jake, who filed this report from earlier today.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. I'm standing out here in the southwestern side of campus. Dick Howser Stadium is right behind me as Florida State baseball takes on Troy University just up north over in southeastern Alabama. Getting into the top of the third inning as I talk. We haven't quite hit that part of the game where they're going to be singing "Oh Canada" quite yet, and to be quite frank, Canada is about the last thing we can associate this weather with out here. As it was our 8th consecutive day with a high temperature above 80 degrees. That is an all-time February record for us here in Tallahassee, so something rather remarkable. But as we're going to allude to later on in the show, that pattern is showing signs of beginning to fade away as we move into the next few days or so. Later on in the show, we'll also have a look at some severe weather that could be occurring in parts of the southeast, although we aren't exactly expecting that to be a big player for us here in Tallahassee. You're going to have plenty more in the show, as well as with a national forecast and plenty of analysis on what to expect locally for the rest of the night tonight as our final show here of the week of February 23rd. Starting to work towards March, spring break on the horizon. The weather is beautiful. Enjoy it. Baseball going to be taking on Troy tomorrow, so definitely want to get out there for that, as those temperatures are going to be looking to be right around the 80-degree point once again. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Jake. So, if you haven't noticed, that it's been really warm here in the Tallahassee area, and we've been actually hitting some records for the past couple days. So if you've been watching the show on Thursday, our trivia question was, what is the highest record temperature in February in Tallahassee? Because we've been seeing these really warm temperatures. I'm going to guess, since I haven't seen this question, I'm going to guess probably 87. So let's see what the answer is. Oh, I was wrong. It was 89. So that's still really warm for the month of February, where we should be really seeing temperatures in like the lower 60s and upper 60s. But this is crazy, 89. I'm glad we haven't gotten up to those higher temperatures yet. But yeah, so make sure you stick in tune for Thursday shows for the next question, and stay updated with Twitter, so make sure you put on the poll, answer your question, just guess. It's always fun to do that. I love doing games like that. But for now, I'm going to send it over to the wall with Becca with our local forecast.
All right, thank you so much. So what we saw today were really high temperatures. Tallahassee at 83, 84 in Quincy, 86 in Bainbridge, and actually a little bit cooler out on the coast at 77 in Apalachicola. So really high temps like we've been seeing all week. Today, actually, you'll notice we tied for our record high for this day. And this is our third day in a row that we've done this. And actually, if you notice, our low today is pretty close to our average high. So the highs and the lows have swapped. This has been a pretty warm period of time. And so this is largely due to the fact that these winds, though they're not very strong, actually are having a pretty big effect on us, because they're bringing in moisture from the south. So this Gulf moisture comes up and visits us. And so we can see with the dew points right here, 59 in Tallahassee, 61 in Quincy, 64 in Bainbridge. So all this moisture is coming up and really influencing our dew points, even as far north as Bainbridge, Thomasville. And then what does the actual dew point mean for us? For the most part, we were all looking at that map, we were all in the moderate condition. So this is what it'll feel like to us. It's moderate, it's uncomfortably close to oppressive, so watch out for this in the next week. the comfortable region that's kind of far behind at this point. And this is what it'll feel like to us at the moment. So it's 80 in Tallahassee. It feels like it's 80 just because of how high that dew point is. Quincy, Mariana, 81, and it really is uncomfortable in Bainbridge with 85. And so what to watch out for the rest of this evening. So for tonight, we're actually going to have that moisture come through, and we're going to have the high humidity and that moisture actually form up into some clouds. It's going to be 61, so lower in temperature, but it's still going to be pretty warm. Warmer than average, warmer maybe than we'd like. But for tomorrow, so the forecasted high, the projected high is 82, which, if you notice, is very close to our record high of 83. So maybe if things work out correctly, we can tie again with our record of 83, or we can even maybe break it. If you're excited about that. I'm kind of not. But it's going to maintain pretty moist, so we're going to have the clouds continue to stay through, high temperatures, more of what we've been seeing right up through until Sunday and Monday when a cold front comes through and we're able to see an increase in the actual precipitation. So for Saturday, it's going to look like some clouds, and then Sunday in the afternoon when that really comes through, you're going to see a chance for a 30% chance of rain in the evening. Still though, high of 80, so it's going to be warm tomorrow, or on Sunday. Monday, when that rain actually really hits, is going to be pretty high at 74, but a 70% chance of rain. So it'll be hot and wet, umbrellas and shorts, so, you know, kind of wear whatever you'd like. Okay, and then as this continues through with the week, we're going to pick back up. It's going to be 78 on Tuesday, 80 on Wednesday, so really just, we get a bit of a break with the temperatures here Sunday and Monday, but then it picks right back up for the week. So be ready for that on Monday and Tuesday, that it's going to be actually pretty uncomfortable. But passing it over to Sarah for the southeast.
Thanks, Becca. So we're going to kind of zoom out of the Tallahassee area and bring into more of the southeast region. Right now, we're still pretty warm out here in the southeast region. 79 in Tallahassee, Montgomery at 80, and up if you go down south of Florida, it's 77, a little bit cooler than we're seeing up here in Tallahassee, which is pretty crazy for Miami. You would expect that down in the south they would get warmer temperatures. We are seeing, as you can see, that cold front sitting over there at Little Rock at 54, and you can see that blue where they're getting a lot cooler temperatures than we're seeing right now in the southeast region. And as you can see with that satellite, you see that cold front sitting right there, bringing in those showers into that area. Not really bringing much into our area. We're not really going to see that rain until later on in the week as more disturbances push that cold front closer to us. We do see some scattered formation come over here in Louisiana and Mississippi, so they're going to see some chance of some rain over there, but we're really not going to see anything much until Saturday and Sunday and closer to Monday. With our current winds right now, we are in a high pressure, so you can kind of see that wind moving in a clockwise motion. Pretty breezy out at Tallahassee at 8 miles per hour, Orlando at 13, so pretty breezy throughout the southeast region. In that high pressure, you can kind of see over there, as I said, that cold front with those winds changing directions of that low pressure system sitting out there. And as for our current dew point, it's really wet outside. It's really muggy. We're basically swimming through the air if you go out to your classes. My hair was all over the place with the flyaways and everything. So Tallahassee at 59, Orlando at 61, Key West at 67, and look at New Orleans, 71. They're really muggy out there, and as I said, you can still see over there, they're getting those nice dry temperatures with that cold front coming through, but we're sitting right now in the southeast region, really muggy out. So it's really out for us right now. But for the weekend ahead, as I said, we're going to get some rain, so it's going to get, the moisture is going to stay with us. We're going to get about a ½ inch predicted of rain, but over here they're getting a lot of moisture and rain over there, so you're going to expect to see some watches out there for that cold front of flood area watches over there. So since that cold front kind of went, just kind of stalled out there, it kind of brought a lot of rain for that area, so they're seeing a lot of watches out there. And for tonight's forecast, it's a bit cool, but still above average in the 60s around the area. 61 in Tallahassee, 66 in Orlando, and 58 at Little Rock. So they're getting cooler temperatures up there, but we're still sitting in that above average temperature. But for tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be hot. It's not really a surprise right here. It's going to be hot all around. Tallahassee at 86, 85 in Orlando down near closer to my hometown. And we're seeing some rain, as you can see, up there in Little Rock. So they're expecting some rain as well. But for Sunday's forecast, not really surprised there either. It is warm out, So you're going to expect these temperatures for a while. We will see later on in the extended weekend forecast that we're going to kind of see some cooler temperatures, but not really. But for now, I'm going to send it over to Dylan at the lab.
Hey, thank you, Sarah. We're going to take a look at something we mentioned yesterday on the show. Jake was in here in the lab yesterday to talk about severe weather as the season's starting, and we looked at Saturday's outlook for severe weather, and now we have an updated one for today, and we see we went from a slight risk being our most intense risk yesterday to our enhanced risk being the most intense for Saturday in the region. That's where they're seeing the most potential. So we have these different risks, and I'll run through them again. We have some thunderstorms on the outside, which is the light green. You have some no severe thunderstorms possible there, but getting up into the enhanced region, which is the most intense, looking into tomorrow for that region, is some numerous severe storms possible, more persistent and widespread instances of those severe thunderstorms. And you have some possibility of tornadoes, but that's not what the real impact is tomorrow. The real factor that's going to be playing into this is high winds. You're getting winds in excess of 50 and 60 miles per hour. So make sure if you live in that region that you are prepared for these storms that are going to make its way through, with the oncoming front trying to crack to our area. But with that, you want to secure all loose items outside. Make sure nothing's flying in the wind. You don't want anything flying or causing more damage. Winds are the biggest factor with the storm. Tornadoes are possible, but not very likely. And if they are tornadoes, they're not going to be as intense. We'll look at that in a little bit. But the biggest thing, why are we going to see some severe weather? Well, we have a lot of moisture. You see this green and blue. That's indicating the higher dew points. And the higher the dew point is, the higher the moisture count is. And you can see behind the front, you can see clearly this gradient of the greens and blues and the blacks. And behind that gradient, you see some dry conditions, but ahead of it you see all this moisture that's been funneling in by this area of high pressure. That's why we've been getting the winds out of the south and east here, and that's been funneling in moisture to the southeast. And as this is coming, you have the possibility of some instability, and this is our CAPE. So CAPE stands for Convective Available Potential Energy, and it's really a way to measure instability, which causes some severe thunderstorms in our region. And with that, you have some CAPE in the lower, you go south, but it's not too intense. We're not seeing intense amount of CAPE. And just before I go, let's look at this. Shane Pendleton, one of our viewers, sent this in. One of the trucks out in UAH Huntsville that's going to go out tomorrow and try to look at these storms to inform people in the local area. But now let's send it out to the wall with Michael for a look at the national.
Thanks, Dylan, for talking about that severe thunderstorm outlook. I'm actually going to get into that in a little bit, but right now the current conditions across the nation, it's been very active across the entire U.S. this week, with the stalled out front still situated in the middle of the country. When you're west of it, you are very cold, with 27 in Salt Lake City and 28 in Denver. But in the southeast, we've been under this ridge the entire week, and we've been breaking records basically every day across the entire southeast. Now here's a look at, there's a low pressure system here, and the importance of this low pressure system, this is going to inject out into the Midwest tomorrow, and that's the fuel behind the severe weather outbreak we're expecting for tomorrow across the Mid-South. Now here's a look at the stalled out front across the Middle South. It's been sticking around for the last few days, still has some energy with it, but it's going to be reinvigorated by that low pressure system out in Utah. Now you can see all the clouds and moisture associated with this stalled out front, and don't forget about that low pressure system back in Utah, basically boosting this stalled out front into tomorrow. And then the southeast is still under that strong ridge, which is going to be broken down as we head into later in the weekend into early next week. Look at all the flood watches and warnings associated with that stalled out front. A lot of places here in the Mid-South have had 5 to 7 inches of rain over the last few days, and we're expecting at least 1 to 3 more inches over that area this weekend because of that low pressure system coming out into the middle of the country. Behind the stalled out front, we have a lot of winter weather advisories and warnings due to snow and treacherous travel conditions due to all that snow and ice we've been dealing with. There's a look at all the rain the Arkansas area has received over the last 48 hours. Almost 4 inches of rain here in Little Rock. Not much as you go down south towards the North Texas region, but they got a lot of rain going back into earlier in the week, in Tuesday and into Wednesday. So that doesn't take into account all the rain that they got over there. Here's the look at the severe weather outlook for tomorrow's weather. You can see the orange is enhanced, meaning that there is a likely look at tornadoes. Not likely, but there's a chance for tornadoes, but definitely damaging winds here. Now, as we go into tonight, you'll see that the ridge will remain. The cold air will be in the west. Tomorrow, the severe weather outbreak possible in the middle south region, but the ridge still remains for one more day in the southeast. Sarah's going to give you a look at another local forecast.
Thanks, Michael. So bringing it back into the Tallahassee area, our current conditions are still warm for this evening at 79 in Tallahassee, 78 in Valdosta. We're still seeing some passing clouds. Luckily for Valdosta, they have clear skies, but pretty warm right now for this evening time. As we go on to our satellite and radar, as you can see, there's really nothing much going on in our area, mostly just some passing clouds. We do see some disturbance some storms building up over the Mississippi area, but really we're not going to see much rain until Sunday and Monday. And as we get into our current winds, as I said, we're in a high pressure system, so you can kind of see that clockwise motion of those winds, making it a bit breezy out. As I walked to my classes, my hair was all over the place. It was really windy out. And also if you want to do anything for the weekend, there was a lot of stuff. If you stayed tuned to last night's or yesterday's show, I talked about a lot of stuff that's going on. We're still having some baseball events. It's going to be 80 degrees, and that's going to continue on into Sunday at 75. So it's going to be really warm outside. So if you do go support FSU, make sure you bring water and make sure you have your sunscreen on because it's going to be a really hot day for that day. And also on Sunday, you do have women's basketball too at 75. And also if you want to watch the men's basketball, I know they're playing in North Carolina, I think on Sunday as well for that evening time. And also, if you're kind of a science person, go and see the Mag Lab open house. It starts at 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's going to still be hot, so make sure you put sunscreen on. Make sure you drink water as you go out there. It's going to be really hot. But also, if you do go out there, make sure you bring some food donations. They're going to donate it to charity to provide food for our region. But it's going to be a really cool time. But we also have other stuff. If you're not really a science person, we have the arts. FSU is performing in the Addams Family, so if you're into musical theater, we have this for you too. So if you're not into science, we have this. It's going to be a little bit warmer at 70, above average for that weekend. It's going to be a fun musical. It's going to be at the Fallon Theater. So make sure you go out and do that too. I'm a musical theater nut, so that's going to be really cool. So go and support FSU in our arts and science. For tonight's forecast, though, it's going to be above average and the 60s, so it's still going to be in and out, but pretty nice to be able to go outside and enjoy the night as you go out. For tomorrow's forecast, not really surprised, it's going to be warm, so make sure you have your water and sunscreen. We may even actually break the record or even tie the record for tomorrow, so we'll see on that tomorrow. But for your week ahead, as I said, we will get some rain chances on Sunday and Monday at 70%, but overall the week, we actually will see some 50s in the week ahead. So what do you guys think about that? We're getting some really good temperatures over there, Becca and Dylan. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of warm temperatures in the winter, and we were talking, why don't we see any cold temperatures in the summer? It's not fair. There's a bias.
It's injustice is what it is.
For you warm lovers, you get more exponential, like you get days of weird heat in the winter, but you don't. For your cold lovers, you don't get that in the summer.
It's uneven.
Right, but do you want to explain why, Becca?
Well, so the reason why is because it really comes down to temperature gradients, which is the difference in temperatures, and that's what pushed pretty much all weather. So if you can have conditions that are going to make it very different temperatures in different areas, that's going to cause really big.
Right. So as we get into the summer months, we're closer to the equator. The difference between the northern hemisphere for us here in Tallahassee in the summer, they're not going to see as big of a shift to the equator. So we don't get those big gradients that bring a lot of weather. But in the southern hemisphere,
in the southern hemisphere, they will be having, because there's the difference in temperature between that water and then the land.
Right. You get cooler temperatures there. They're not seeing as much direct sunlight there. So they're seeing those big gradients and those big systems bringing some warm weather to other regions.
Yeah, so it is, I guess, technically it is fair just around the world, just not for us. It doesn't even happen
for people who like weather on a feel-like level.
Personal level.
Right. Something I did find interesting when researching this topic was actually that Australia sees cold fronts in the summer, and that's not something I would have expected. Margaret actually showed me, our producer for the show, showed me one of those maps, and it was interesting to see a cold front in the summer.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that because of just where the sun hits it, that would create those conditions.
Right, you get the ocean doesn't heat up as fast, so you actually get those in the summer there. The ocean's still relatively cool compared to the land, so you're getting those gradients there, so you get those cold fronts.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely nice, but hey, I'm going to send it out to the look of Florida, and we call it the Sunshine State. Well, we only see one full sunshine out in the entire state, and that's down in Key West. More like the cloud cover state. There's just a lot of clouds sitting around, and that's due to that low-level moisture that's been sitting in our area. That's really bringing in all this low-level clouds with all that moisture coming off the Gulf and the currents. And look at those dew points. Not a single value below 60 degrees. All these in this, actually that's not true. Yeah, Tallahassee at 59, but they're all relatively high. With those higher dew points, you have more moisture, and that brings in more clouds at the lower levels. So you're seeing a lot of that. It's a lot moister conditions than we're used to here in Florida this time. And something I saw last week that I'd never seen for the first time in February was heat indexes, and 7 days later, we're still seeing heat indexes in the 70s and the 80s around the state. Here in Tallahassee, we got 80-degree heat index. It is hot. Heat index is due to that moisture, and you get the high relative humidity values. That creates a heat index with those high temperatures. So we're seeing that through much of the state, and that's been the story all week. And winds are coming out of the east, funneling in more and more moisture. For us, you see here in Tallahassee and Pensacola, we're coming out of the southeast, so we're seeing a lot of wind and a lot of moisture still funneling in, high pressure sitting over the Atlantic Ocean that keeps this clockwise rotation intact. Going into our satellite radar, and down in South Florida, in my home of Miami, you're seeing summer-like showers. You're coming off the ocean, you're seeing all these scattered showers, nothing too crazy, but it seems like summer. It is February, and it's feeling more like May and June than it is feeling like February for us here. Looking at the upper level water vapors, I said that we have some clouds at the lower levels, but at the upper levels it's all relatively dry. Just because you have dry air above doesn't mean you have dry air below. So you're seeing some clouds at the lower levels due to that moisture off the Gulf, but down farther you go up in the atmosphere, you're not seeing a lot of moisture, so not a big impact for convective or large-scale thunderstorms. We do this blue indicating rip currents, and with those winds coming out of the east, shoving in the water to the coast, brings in some rip current watches on the East Coast and over in Pensacola in Florida. So things are not looking good if you're going out to the beach, so just be sure you're with a lifeguard, make sure everything's all right. For tonight, still relatively warm. The farther you go down south, the warmer it is. We're in 61 in Tallahassee. Pensacola, a little warmer though at 67. They're seeing more influence off the coast, keeping them a little warmer. And into tomorrow, we do see a little bit more sunshine, and Pensacola starts to see the beginning of that front with 79 degrees and some showers, though Fort Myers is also going to see some showers, more summer-like conditions down there, and cloud cover sticking really around for most of the southern part of the state. So not looking like the best of days, but tomorrow might be a good day to go out for us here in Tallahassee. Last kind of clear day. But if you want to know more about our local forecast, Michael's going to have that for you right now.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan. Let's take a look at what our temperatures have been doing for the whole day. You saw we started out at 60s, well above the average for this time of year. We're supposed to be in the 40s for this time of year, for your information. But we did warm up to a record high of 83 degrees. It doesn't show it on here, but we did get to 83, tied that record high back in 1996. The main story has been the stalled out front for the entire week. The reason why it hasn't been moving that much is because we're under this ridge of high pressure. That's why it's been so warm, and that's why it's been so clear and pleasant for the entire week across the southeast and the Sunshine State. But that is going to change as we go into Saturday and Sunday. Again, with that ridge of high pressure, the winds have been coming out of the south for the entire week. That's why it's been feeling so humid outside and very warm outside. So it feels more like May and June rather than the end of February. Now, I showed you that low pressure system in Utah. That's going to eject out into the Mid-South tomorrow, give that severe weather potential in the Mid-South, even give them more rain. They've been getting a lot of rain this week. They're only going to get even more as we go into tomorrow. As we go into Sunday, this finally gets into the southeast, breaking down that ridge you see. And we'll finally get some rain chances late Sunday, definitely into Monday, where our rain chances will be pretty high, and we do need the rain. Remember, we're still in a drought here in the Tallahassee area. That front will go into South Florida by the middle of the week, and it will stay there as we go into the end of the week. But for tonight's forecast, 61 will be a low, similar to where we've been for the last few nights around here in the Tallahassee area. Again, well above average. Tomorrow, 82 will be a high. We probably could get to that record of 83 set last year. So this will be the final day we actually get close to a record. By the time we get into Sunday, you'll see by Sunday's forecast, it will cool down a little bit because of the rain chances increasing in the afternoon, again, due to that cold front. And then Monday is looking like the rain chances are going to increase with the 70% chance of rain you see on Monday. The temperatures will be lower. 74 will be a high on Monday, the lowest we've seen in a while around here. But we get back up on Tuesday with a high of 78, and we're back in the 80s as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. By we go into the later part of next week, it is looking like there's going to be some cooler air coming in, and we might get down to back to where we're supposed to be for February and March. So how do you feel about that, Sarah and Dylan?
I mean, I have to pull out the rain jacket again. We haven't needed that for the last couple of days. So just make sure you bring that onto Monday.
Yeah, definitely. So make sure if you do go out, if you don't have plans for Saturday, go out and enjoy it while you still can, because on Sunday, as you saw, we're going to have higher chances of some rain, and even Monday too. So as you go into your classes, probably should bring an umbrella.
Yeah, raincoat, umbrella. Stay dry on Monday. If you walk to campus, make sure you drive, take the bus, find another way, because you're going to be walking through the rain.
Yeah, definitely. But throughout the rest of the week, it's looking pretty good. We're seeing some 50s, which are nice.
50s are nice. I like the cooler temperatures, and I like only 74 as a high. That's not a bad temperature. Feeling more moderate than we are warm, like we've been used to these last couple days.
Yeah, because my hair has not been liking these warm temperatures at all. So I'm actually looking forward to that 75 on Friday.
Yeah, the 75 is not bad. We're going to see another clear out after another potential front on Thursday. Still a little far away, so we'll see how that plays out. We got to first deal with the rain, and rain's good. We had some drought, seen some improvement. We've actually seen some excess rain the farther you go west into west of Pensacola. Yeah, so rain's not necessarily a bad thing for us here. We're still in a little bit of a drought.
Yeah, so we kind of need the rain. So even though it's going to be kind of we need it though.
But we have everything. We have different weather for everyone. We got some cooler temps. We got some clear skies. We got some rain. And we got some warm temps.
Yeah, we got some interesting weather going on for our area finally. But for now, just follow us on Twitter also to keep updated for our trivia and for also the weather updates too.
Yeah, and we'll have our Facebook Live, our Facebook update with our social media update there after the show, and we can watch us on YouTube anytime. And we have an Instagram too.
Yeah, that's really cool. I found that out earlier on the show. I was like, we have an Instagram? I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean, you can send us our pictures. We post pictures there occasionally. So if you want to go see some cool weather pictures, go look on there.
Yeah, definitely. So make sure you enjoy these weekend temperatures and also stay dry for the rest of the week. But for FSU weather, I'm student meteorologist Sarah Converse.
And I'm student meteorologist Dylan Leith. Have a great night.